casual of your day. Makeup and dress, are you ready to go? Weather is great, it's your holy day. We got to party all day long. Happy days, summer days, sunshine, girl. I like it. Happy days, summer days, sunshine's for you. Happy days, summer days, sunshine, girl. I like it. Happy days, summer days, sunshine's for you.
Don't feed Ezreal. Ezreal is a high mobility ranged champion who can be played effectively as either an attack damage carry or an ability power carry. He has long range abilities and a moderate attack range. He deals damage primarily through skill shot abilities. Ezreal's passive is a rising spell force. When Ezreal successfully lands a spell, he gains an attack speed bonus for several seconds. This bonus stacks several times. Ezreal's Essence Flux and True Shot Barrage abilities will grant multiple stacks if they land on multiple opponents. Ezreal's Mystic Shot deals physical damage to the first target it hits in a line. This damage scales very well with attack damage and also scales slightly with ability power. Mystic Shot applies on-hit effects. If Mystic Shot hits an opponent, all of Ezreal's cooldowns are reduced. Mystic Shot has a long range. Additionally, the ability has a short base cooldown. Ezreal's Essence Flux is a mid to long range skill shot that deals magic damage to any enemy champions in a line. This damage scales only with ability power. Essence Flux gives bonus attack speed to allied champions who are hit, while reducing the attack speed of enemy champions who are hit. Ezreal's Arcane Shift blinks him to a nearby target location. If enemies are near his new location, the closest enemy to Ezreal will be dealt magic damage. This damage scales with ability power. Arcane Shift can cross over most terrain. Ezreal's ultimate is True Shot Barrage. After a brief cast time, this ability fires a global skill shot that deals magic damage to all enemies in a straight line. Additionally, vision is granted to an area around the projectile. Each enemy struck reduces the damage dealt to future enemies, down to a moderate base damage. This ability scales with bonus attack damage and ability power. This ability has a relatively short cooldown for an ultimate. True Shot Barrage cannot be interrupted by crowd controls. When playing as Ezreal, here's what you need to know. Your best lane allies are champions with strong disables as they allow you to more easily land skill shots. Alternatively, Soraka is very strong for her constant mana supply. The Rising Spell Force passive will usually stay active during fights. However, when attacking structures, remember to use abilities to keep stacks. If no enemies are nearby, use Essence Flux on allies to keep stacks active for longer, or consider using your ultimate down lane. Weave Mystic Shot between normal attacks for a large burst of additional damage. If an enemy champion is approaching you in a straight line, use this while backing off for additional damage. Practice using Mystic Shot, as it is a strong last hitting and cooldown reduction tool for both attack damage and ability power carry builds. For ability power builds, be aware that the Lichbane item dramatically increases the power of Mystic Shot. Mystic Shot can be used to easily check bushes, if the shot ends short and audibly thumps an enemy is in the bush. You can also use Essence Flux and his True Shot Barrage to check bushes, if you watch your Rising Spell Force passive stacks. The cooldown reduction from Mystic Shot also applies to his ultimate, so use Mystic Shot on enemies as often as you reasonably can. Essence Flux has a punitive mana cost, so avoid overusing or overleveling it unless you're playing him as an ability power carry. Keep in mind that it does not damage minions. Additionally, don't forget to use it on allies to keep passive stacks up and benefit their damage output. The debuff from Essence Flux is particularly useful against enemy attack damage carries and can allow for better exchanges with them. In most cases, Arcane Shift should be saved for either escaping or securing a kill on a fleeing opponent, but should rarely be used just for its damage output. While Arcane Shift is excellent for escaping, keep in mind that you will engage idle monsters, including Baron Nashor and Dragon, if you blink near them. Against opponents with gap closers, such as Jax, wait until they've used the gap closer before using Arcane Shift, ensuring they remain at a distance from you. True Shot Barrage is ideal when teams are grouped up, particularly in tight corridors. This is more likely to happen when the enemy team is initiating a fight against your team. In smaller fights, it can be useful to save your ultimate until the end of the fight, when an opponent may have escaped at low health or when you're relatively certain it will kill. True Shot Barrage can be effective at clearing minions down a lane when cast straight down the lane. This is much more effective with ability power builds. Using True Shot Barrage at the start of a team fight is an excellent way to start the fight with full stacks of Rising Spell Force. When aiming True Shot Barrage across the map, it can often be easier to hit targets in a lane by firing straight down the lane, such as from the summoner platform or the bend at bottom or top lane, rather than from the sides. This is because the lanes have terrain along the sides that can limit options when attempting to dodge a shot. Ezreal can rapidly combo all of his abilities, including his ultimate, to devastate an opponent. This is best done if you can surprise your opponent by arcane shifting from Fog of War, potentially reducing their reaction speed. Ezreal tends to be strongest in the early and especially mid-game, but falls off in the late game unless he's done well until that point. Focus on improving your play in laning and smaller skirmishes to excel with him. When playing against Ezreal, there's a few things to keep in mind. Consider taking mobile champions, particularly those with short cooldown blinks or dashes. This can force Ezreal to use Arcane Shift to immediately reposition, denying him an escape. Since Ezreal requires a clear path to land his Mystic Shot, counter him in a duo lane with a skill shot champion like Blitzcrank, who can deter him from moving away from minions. When played as a solo ability power carry, consider champions that are hard to land skill shots on, such as Katarina. If you can avoid his skill shots, harass him as frequently as possible to deny him safe farm. Against an ability power Ezreal, understand that he is not a strong pusher, even with his ultimate. Applying regular pressure to his lane can force him to stay and defend. In teamfights, tanks, fighters, and support should body block him from clear shots on softer targets. This can force him to reposition or get caught out of position with Arcane Shift. Watch out for tight entrances and avoid staying grouped up to avoid an ultimate hitting your whole team. If you need to recall, move into Fog of War and to a location where he is unlikely to land a blind ultimate. Thanks for watching this Don't Feed. Be sure to subscribe with the button on the upper right. Check out my previous movie in this series, Don't Feed Darius, by clicking the movie thumbnail on the right. I've written a book on League of Legends called Learn the League. If you love these movies, I strongly recommend checking out the book at www.learntheleague.com. I stream League of Legends Monday through Friday here on YouTube at about 3 p.m. Pacific Time. Make sure you like me on my Facebook page and follow me on Twitter for updates. As always, check the movie information box below for general thoughts on series updates, and let your friends know about this series in order to help promote it in the League of Legends community. Also, make a post on the official League of Legends forum thread linked below if you really enjoy the series.